Hey everyone, we're here to talk about E3 2017.
Hello.
It's the one after E3 2016. What was different this time?
It's new year, it's a new day,
It's a new year.
new
There's some
games.
new machines.
The PlayStation 4 Neo Pro is out now. We know a bit more about the Scorpio. It's still not out. The Switch is out now. So it's quite different. There's not like a lot of hardware announcements. It's mainly a year for software, I suppose.
Also for E3, it's the first public year.
Oh
Which
yeah.
I understand was
yeah.
an absolute nightmare for the press there.
Yeah, I saw a lot of tweets and stuff and pictures and real salty games industry people.
Look pretty
The
sweaty.
Switch Zone was pretty. New Donk City
Yeah, like,
was apparently
I've done-
absolutely jammed.
I've done like 5 E3s. I didn't do last year, but I did 2011 to 2015, and I would run from hall to hall like every half hour to like make my bookings. I never gave myself any time in between bookings, and I could do it. And one of my old colleagues said it took him 10 minutes just to walk from one booth to the other booth that he had appointments at,
Through
and the
the crowd.
booths were next to each other.
Oh man.
They were right by, so that wasn't even changing halls, that wasn't even getting to one side of the West Hall to the other side, that was 2 booths next to each other. So E3's changed forever.
But the first thing I want to know is what were our favourite things? What was your favourite thing? Peace in. What was your favourite thing from E3?
I'm not allowed to talk about Spider-Man, am I?
You can talk about
You
Spider-Man.
thought
as well.
Spider-Man, yeah.
Spider-Man looks so good.
I,
Also
I,
good.
thought, I thought we were talking about our favourite things appropriate for rice.
Yeah,
I
that's the
think
thing.
out of E3, but yeah, that's cool.
Like, if I separate it out, like
The thing about
overall,
Spider-Man is he's very Japanese. That's why there's a.
yes,
That's why there was that.
That's why he's swinging through Tokyo.
There was that Japanese TV series of Spider-Man, and not for other Marvel characters. He has
Yeah.
a lot in common with like the Super Sentai sort of Tokokatsu type.
yeah, similar
superhero.
design type
yeah.
design, I suppose. The game looks amazing. It looks like the most amazing thing ever, actually. I'm a huge fan of the old Spider-Man games. Spider-Man 2 in particular, very very good.
It's
The new
Insomniac,
one
right?
looks extremely Arkham-y.
Yeah, the combat's evolved like loads from,
yeah.
From the old Spider-Man game.
So,
Everything looks
so
Arkham these
it's not
days.
really like light punch, hard punch type of like combat gameplay anymore. It seems very centered
I don't
around.
even remember what the combat was like in Spider-Man 2.
It used to. There was like an attack button, then you mash on the attack button, and then you jump around, and then you have like a web button, and that would be it.
I think there was a
basically.
punch and a kick.
Yeah. Whereas now it seemed very focused on using your spidey sense to counter attacks and stuff. There was a section where he's kind of sneaking around and setting up traps and webbing people like
a
stealthily
spider.
and so
Spiders are all about traps.
So
There's a spider in this room right now, and it's behind me.
yes, indeed. It looks very cool. I quite like that the effect of that new gameplay is that Spider-Man moves and animates a lot like you would imagine Spider-Man would. Instead of just like being on the floor and jumping around and throwing punches and kicks, he's flipping and doing web things and countering and so on, and everything just looks quite awesome. And then web swinging looked cool. QTEs looked cool. It was
The
amazing.
QTs look cool.
It did.
The
they
crane
looked- yeah.
QT looked immense.
The only
Yeah.
cool QTs are in Shenmue. This is the only one I'll accept.
But for QTE standards, it looked pretty cool.
Did you ever play much of that QTE arcade game in Shenmue? Like the one that was purely just
yeah,
blank
yeah,
screen.
Yeah, go to the bar and do yeah.
Why did they spend so long playing that?
What else was that? I think
Yeah, what's your favourite thing, Geraint?
I'm gonna have to go with Dragonball FighterZ. I think is probably the one of the more standout things for me. It's kind of weird that it was the Microsoft one, which is kind of surprising.
It's interesting.
For a little while there, I thought it was going to be Xbox One exclusive, and I was like
just
shitting
getting
myself.
ready to rage. But the thing about that game is it just looks so amazing. Arc System Works have just massively raised that.
Yeah, it's not
that
Arc
bar
System
for-
Works. It's not their first Dragon Ball game, but it's the first Dragon Ball game that they've
for
done for
home
home
console, yeah.
consoles.
But
In fact, I think
they've
it's the
basically
first-
taken the whole Guilty Gear engine and then just cranked
one of the
it out
first
to
tie-in
some-
games that they've done for home console, I think. usually they keep their tie-in stuff to sort of mobile or portable consoles.
I think the other interesting thing about that game for me is because it looks so good, it's kind of automatically made everything else kind of look bad. It's made Marvel vs. Capcom look pretty ropey.
And
it's
to
even
be
kind
fair,
of taken
Capcom
away
were
from like
doing a
Tekken.
good job at doing that
like,
anyway.
Like Tekken
Yeah.
and Injustice are like they're good looking games, but this is like a whole other level in terms of just like the energy in that game is amazing.
The Guilty Gear XRD Rev 2 still looks sweet.
I mean, what Ark are doing with Unreal is amazing. Like their games always look great. Guilty Gear in particular looks really good, but Dragonball FighterZ is basically taking that Guilty Gear look and then just like elevating it even further.
And when
Yeah,
you
I mean,
compare
phenomenal.
it to other anime fighters, such as the One Piece Burning Blood one from last year and the Naruto Ultimate Shippuden games, they've always done a pretty good job at sort of mimicking the style a bit.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're very good looking games, but this is just like on a whole new level of looking like anime, like the anime itself, not an anime style, but it looks like.
And the good thing is that underneath all that as well, you know it's going to be a really good fighting game. Ark make really, really good fighting games. And
I mean, visually, Ark has always been the best. Like in terms of their attention to detail and stuff,
art
is
direction and stuff
through
is
the
amazing.
roof. And Guilty Gear, as good as it looks, that was Unreal Engine 3. This is Unreal 4, which comes with better lighting, better textures, all that sort of jazz. I was watching the gameplay videos yesterday, and I loved how you can shoot projectiles, but then you can kind of like parry the projectiles, and then the projectiles will get launched into the background and smash things in the background and stuff, which is amazing. I can't believe that's like no one ever thought of doing that before. It just looks
so. I mean, I'm really hyped for that, like massively hyped for that game, and I think hopefully a lot of the, not just only the fighting game community will get behind it, but I think it will also bring in a lot of people to get to know Ark as well.
Yeah, like casual Dragonball
people who just like
fans.
Who are going to come in.
Yeah, sort of people who love the Budokai games.
Yes, exactly. But also like help them step up their game. No disrespect to Budokai or Shippuden or whatever. But
Budokai and Xenoverse and stuff are all very good and fun, but they're not like competitively viable fighting games. Whereas this definitely will be.
Yeah. That's good. What about you, Oscar? What's your number one?
My favorite thing is probably Xenoblade Chronicles 2, because I like the Xenoblade Chronicles games a lot. But I think it also is pretty nice to see Nintendo continuing to support their sort of range and catalog of exclusive JRPGs, which they've had going since like DS, even just like a huge range. And even GameCube with stuff like Fire Emblem Path of Radiance and Baten Kaitos, Skies of Arcadia Legends, sort of a little bit. They've always done a great job at nurturing that sort of content, and I don't think they've really got enough praise for that. Even with the Wii U, it had its fair share of Xenoblade Chronicles X, Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
I think the sad thing for those is obviously not many people bought Wii U, so there's going to be a lot of people who this is going to be their first taste of Xenoblade, I think. So
well, I mean, the first one was on Wii, but it was made in very limited quantities. I'd love to see some of that brought forward, but with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 will be like a new story and everything. So
yeah, I'm excited for it.
It looks a lot more anime
too.
Which I'm okay with. I like the visuals of the first Xenoblade Chronicles quite a lot. It was a little bit Final Fantasy 12-y. It's quite nice. It wasn't like high res or anything because it's Wii. Xenoblade Chronicles X. I love the environment design, but the character design was very
Chronicles
creepy
X
dolls.
didn't really do it for me that much because I really like the original, like Shulk and the Monado and all this stuff. The world they created was really interesting. And then in Chronicles X, you just have a blank slate character.
Some of the characters are a little bit
kind
interesting.
of looks a little bit weird. It plays a lot like kind of a single player MMO almost, whereas they seem to have injected a lot more story and personality back into the game.
Yeah, X was a lot more preoccupied with just like the environment and the idea of exploration. Whereas it looks like, Xenoblade Chronicles has always been about big scale, even with the first one. So it looks like 2 is doing a good job of bringing in lessons that they've learned from both returning to the stuff people loved in Chronicles, but also injecting it with some of the sort of the larger scope of X, I think.
Best of both worlds, hopefully.
Yes.
I think it's my Christmas game, I think.
Matthew, what about you? What's your favourite thing? from E3?
I don't know. Like, I'm a big fan of The Evil Within, so I'm delighted that Tango Game Works is back with 2. I'm also a big Beyond Good and Evil fan. I know it's not pricey, so that we're finally getting to.
Yeah.
However, like, some of the stuff I read up on it today makes me a little bit worried, a little bit nervous.
I mean, how about it's a day zero thing?
Yeah, the swearing was a bit weird. I thought the swearing was a bit weird.
Yeah, I felt the swearing was out of place. But they're saying, like, the way they're describing it now is almost like it's No Man's Sky. Like, to a point. It's like, oh, what? I
think they had like a dig at No Man's Sky, because they're saying it's going to be like GTA in space. And then he says, like, but not in like a procedurally generated rubbish kind of way, in a more carefully constructed kind of way. But I think there is that
the scale of it.
You could like leave the bar, go in the ship, go into space, go to the planet. And so there's that seamlessness to it, which is apparently
fully.
I mean, as long as it is properly designed, that could be very cool.
Yeah.
If it is procedurally generated, it's going to be shit.
Well, he specifically said that he's definitely not going to do that. But I think it was like a side swipe at
certainly,
No Man's Sky.
I've seen some stuff saying there are elements.
Oh, is there?
I think
So I don't know.
the main question for me is going to be, how much will the swearing monkey be in the game? And can I play as the swearing monkey?
Forget the swearing. It's not a serious for
I
swearing.
did find it weird, and when I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, brilliant! It's Beyond Good and Evil 2."
Yeah.
And then there was like the swearing, and I was a bit like, "Okay."
Oh, maybe it's not.
And then,
Yeah,
And
I
then it
literally
was-
did that on my live tweets for
but then it just like in that like opening like 2.5 minutes, or whatever. It was kind of quite excessive, and like, I like to swear as much as the next guy, but it was a little bit jarring.
Yeah,
I think.
and like people are defending it, saying, "Oh, but like that was 15 years ago. We've all grown up, and like the game has grown up with us." It's like, first of all, like, swearing doesn't make a game mature. Like, the first Beyond Good and Evil was a very mature game that would just happen to be playable by pretty much everyone.
Yeah, we all grew up to have potty mouths.
Well,
And-
this is
and-
it. Yeah, no, yeah.
Like, you've
you've
got
all
kids,
grown up.
right?
Well,
You
exactly. I
can
know
play
what
Beyond
yeah,
Good and
yeah,
Evil with
yeah.
your kids.
Yeah, exactly.
But if it's full of F-bombs, the sequel is not a
It's
game that
like
you can enjoy
real-
with your
yeah,
kids.
right.
And that's a real shame, because I think it was such a child-friendly game, even though it dealt with a lot of grown-up stuff.
But it's going to appeal to a whole new audience of swear fans, such as us.
But I think but I think it does limit it though. I think it's important because you've got people like us who played Beyond Good and Evil and enjoyed it and wanted a second one, and then that kind of avenue of pleasure is lost to that younger.
I appreciate that the film was, I think, originally a 15, but I grew up on the someday afternoon edit of Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? And that feels like quite a family-friendly, but edgy and growing up and mature series. Temple of Doom. We don't talk about Crystal Skull, but Last Crusade as well. But the argument that it's been X number of years, they can swear now because the fans have grown up, would be like, well, what if the Last Crusade, like, amongst all the fun with Sean Connery,
There was a swearing
and
monkey.
Harrison,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
I've been playing Mario for like 20 years. So why isn't he swearing?
why isn't he gunning down people in New Donk City?
Mario's just like
and, like,
smoking and drinking and banging
having
prostitutes.
hardcore sex with Peach. I mean, that's what people are saying. Like, it's been X number of years. Why don't they grow up?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think that argument holds water.
No,
like, I really don't.
I think it's a shame. I think
man.
sometimes in its place.
Mario
it's
grew up
okay.
to actually become Ron Jeremy.
But I think the other thing as well, of course, we haven't actually seen any proper game either. So,
But that's
We'll
not my answer. My answer is Metroid. I'm a huge Metroid fan, and especially the Prime series.
Were you so hype about
I know
the
when
logo?
they started it, and you're going to be like,
Yeah,
they're going
no,
to show a
so
thing, and
I'm-
then they're not going to show a thing.
I'm down on
they're going
like
to show you the
that.
words.
But just knowing
It's the
that
best
Prime
logo
4,
I've ever seen.
I also like the
wish-
fact that the music was very Prime as well.
Yeah.
They're maintaining
Definitely.
that is really
I
important.
wish that Retro were doing it. It's
Yeah.
a new team, so I'm a little bit apprehensive about
Makes
that.
you wonder
but-
what Retro are doing.
But it depends on who the team is, and whether it's an internal.
And they said like, it's going to be like going back to the isolationism and stuff that Prime was known for. It's like, yes, that is good, and we also get a 2D 3DS.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Metroid
remake
as
of
well.
2, which explains why they shut down that fan-running game.
Yeah.
Am I alone in thinking that all the stuff that they announced at the Treehouse though?
It was all
They
Switch stuff,
didn't
yeah.
show it, and then actually they had more to show in Treehouse, which is all 3DS based stuff. But
They
things like
should,
Superstar Saga and Metroid 2, it would be nice to have it on Switch.
Yeah.
That's
Metroid 2
kind
would
of
have been-
annoying.
Yeah, I feel that way about everything that comes out on 3DS.
Yeah, basically everything they announced in the Treehouse, I was like, I wish they would just put that on Switch.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if it looks
I
like
feel
it's
bad
for
feeling
3DS,
that way,
if I can
but-
play it on my Switch.
Because I've got such a huge backlog as well of 3DS games that I probably will never get through now.
But if they came out on Switch,
it's so
you would play
annoying
them.
to
It
open
kinda
up my
automatically
3DS.
sets it at a
I
separate-
gotta make sure my
different
3DS is charged. Gotta find the 3DS charger. I gotta find the carts. I got like a little box of carts. Well, I say box. It's more like an organized. It's not a box. There are slots for them, and they fit like 24 games in each one. I've got 2 of those.
Yeah, I'd
Need to
much
get
rather
bigger
just
than
sling my Switch to my bag and play that on the train than 3DS.
Yeah.
And having Metroid 2 on Switch.
Yeah, it's like it's so hard to commit to saying I'm gonna buy a new 3DS game because it's like I'm not gonna buy a brand new PS3 game, am I?
But just the knowledge that in the future I'll be playing Prime 4 on the train is just that's got me buzzing like nothing else.
Yeah.
Again, though, it makes me really, really want Metroid Prime Trilogy to come to Switch.
Oh, I know.
I want everything on
finished
Switch.
three.
No, this is the thing that annoyed me the most about the
Thing's
whole
great.
Nintendo thing is just total lack of any information about what their online system is going to be like, and also what the hell is up with Virtual Console.
They have.
Bring
They
the
have.
game
Yeah, that's
Um,
right, they didn't mention
This
it
is-
at
I mean,
all.
in my head, I was thinking
wanna play
surely
Super
they're
Mario
going to
Sunshine
say,
on the
"Hey,
train,"
GameCube
and-
stuff." Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
GameCube stuff on Switch. That was in my head. That was like the thing that I was
a no-brainer.
kind of expecting them to do.
Reggie has commented. He spoke to IGN pretty recently after the direct and everything. I think yesterday. Said that they're well aware that people really want it, the legacy content, and they're just it's just working on the best way to do that apparently. And then they have said it will be definitely different to this online subscription thing. They said that
Okay,
is
so,
not.
so there's going to be
that
a
is not a
subscription,
Virtual Console
and there is going
replacement.
to be a VC.
Yes,
of
they
content.
haven't. I don't think anyone from Nintendo has said the words Virtual Console in any time they've been asked.
But
it's
even
some
if they
kind of
said, I
legacy
mean,
content
like
that
it was a
they're
really good
thinking.
opportunity for them to go. Everything that's on Wii U right now on Virtual Console is now available on Switch. Like that would have been an amazing announcement to have got out.
But wouldn't
'cause-
you end up
'cause of-
using your Switch exactly the same way you use your Xbox now?
Yes,
But that's fine.
No,
You-
but for me, like all that legacy code, all the retro stuff is like super important because
Yeah.
I would say like playing older games takes up, I would say like 40% of my like weekly game. If I had to like say this is how much I'm spending on new stuff, this is how much I'm spending on indies, and this is how much I'm
Yeah.
spending on retro, I'd say 35-40% of it is spent playing.
And it would be so
Metal
good to be
Slug
able
or
to.
whatever, you know.
And to be honest, for me, like I spent my entire student loan on GameCube games. I also invested a lot in Wii games and to a lesser extent in Wii U. But for Wii and Wii U, I was always drawn to my Xbox 360 and then my PS4. So while I bought these games, I accrued all these games. I never actually got around to playing a lot of them because I was in my lounge just like, well, why would I play my Wii when I could be playing like Skyrim on 360
Yeah.
for instance? So there are a lot of games that I have that I never got around to buying. But on Switch, it gives me the opportunity to play them on the go, at work, at lunch, whenever.
The portability factor is huge.
It's
It is.
I mean, we were
it's
just
massive.
I was just talking to you this morning about this, Matthew. Like Earthbound, it's available on the Wii U and 3DS Virtual Console at the moment, but you have to buy it twice.
Yeah.
And
And
there's
I
like no
bought the
cross
Wii U.
functionality. Yeah, and I got the 3DS one. So just to have that in one place that you can play at home and you can take
Yeah.
on the go. It's just,
You know,
it's
say
a
say
huge
what say
sort of
what you want
legacy content.
about Xbox One X, XOX, XOX, whatever it is. That you're
One
gonna call it.
Xbox, one Xbox.
You know, their kind of commitment to having that kind of that backward compatibility is brilliant because I've got such a huge library and I don't want to lose it. So I probably will end up getting the new Xbox system simply because it means I can like retain all of that content. Whereas I've bought so much VC stuff in the past and it's gone. I don't even want to know how much money I spent, but I'm never going to get it back. I've got a Wii in my loft that's just got like full of retro content. But I'm not
you
gonna,
can pay the upgrade price to get the ones that are available on Wii U. So I hope that they do something
do the
similar
same
to
thing.
the
Yeah,
Switch.
yeah.
I mean, even an upgrade price is a little bit cheeky. I think they
Yeah,
said it's because they
it's-
added features on the Wii U, which I guess they did, but I don't care. I didn't ask for those features, but because of like the My Nintendo thing now is part of the Switch ecosystem. Hopefully, once you've brought that in, there'll be some
to
kind of
track what you've
there'll be some kind of lockdown
Yeah.
thing like
Yeah.
Oscar owns this now.
Yes, yeah.
Tell you what, I
Yeah.
think one of the most pleasant surprises out of E3 was, and that was just how good Mario and Rabbids looks.
Do you know what? I was kind of down at when they announced it. I was like, "Oh, what is this?" Like, but actually, XCOM, Rabbids, Mario is
I need that in
is
my life.
kind of
I genuinely
alright.
do.
I
Yeah,
just
I'm
can't
actually
stop
interested.
thinking about Rabbid Peach.
I thought it was super lame, like when they announced the concept and like the initial trailer and stuff. Then I saw some clips of gameplay and I was like, wait a minute.
This is really
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I'd be down for this. So,
And I think, alright, Nintendo and Ubisoft pairing, but we should probably address the fact Ubisoft had a really good show. Like, I think there is an argument for Ubisoft having one of the best conferences out of
Yeah,
this.
I think
not-
the new Just Dance could be the best Just
Oh,
Dance.
yeah. I don't know what's going on with that. Is it Starlink or whatever it's called? The supposed Toys to Life No Man's Skylanders type thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's something else going on with that, or if that is legit. Like, here's this thing, and
Yeah.
entering Toys to Life in 2017 just doesn't sit right with me. It
No, it
feels
doesn't.
odd. It
With
feels
With
weird.
just
Like-
random starships
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't-
everything else Lego is based on Lego. You know,
Yeah.
I guess Skylanders is the only one that was like launching something new, and that was getting it on the ground floor. You know,
Yeah, that
Disney's
was
got
the first
Disney. You know, Nintendo is like Nintendo.
So-
whatever.
Yeah, that is weird.
Mm.
I wonder if there's almost more to that than
Didn't
They're
you
letting
think?
on.
Yeah.
Random Elijah Wood VR experience.
I like
am
Elijah
down with
Wood.
it, I'm down with it. But
What else did they have? It was
well, the good thing that they've learned is that Far Cry and Assassins are known quantities. They're not going to dwell on them for like 45 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
And actually spend more time on the Mario plus Rabbids.
spent
Yeah,
a
the
bit on
pirate
Far
thing,
Cry.
the pirate, which name escapes me, the pirate
Skull and
thing,
Bones.
Skull and Bones are cool.
Yeah, just Slide 3 multiplayer ripoff though. Isn't it?
What happened with Sony's like promised swathe of Japanese announcements?
There was some.
Like,
Japanese.
we had like Shadow of the Colossus remake, which is really cool.
Yeah, which
I
is
love,
good.
I love
But why
Shadow.
no? Why no? Ico would be nice to see Ico remake. Because
But,
that's that.
No one cares.
Shadow's way better than
Yeah, they've
Nico.
confirmed now that that is a full-on remake. Blue Point handling it, but it's all new assets.
It's good to
I mean, it clearly
Uh,
does look like. a
They're
full
also
remake.
modernizing the gameplay.
Okay.
So the one common complaint with Shadow of the Colossus is always the controls are weird and clunky.
Yeah, that's also part of what's endearing.
Yeah, I hope they have that in as like a control option. But it seems like they're.
To go back to the old controls. Yes.
Well, it would be nice.
How would you like to play this?
But it seems like they're
Painfully.
modernizing it. They're modernizing it a fair bit, but the content will be the same.
Like, where was Bloodborne 2? Right? If they're going to say, oh, we've got loads of Japanese announcements, just come out with Bloodborne 2. Just like, here it is. That would have been great if they'd signed off with that.
Are they maybe saving all that stuff for the PlayStation experience?
Monster Hunter World with
Yeah,
Sony.
maybe.
Or
Yeah,
maybe
Monster
next-
Hunter World looks kind of cool. I think I will probably play it.
You're a
but
big fan of the running animation.
Oh, I hate the running animation in.
It's
in-
all part of
in
the
Monster
charm.
Hunter. It always looks really lame. I don't know whether it's just me. Nobody ever seems to have picked up on how like Benny Hill it looks.
I think
Do you know what I
everyone
mean?
loves
It
it
is
for what it
rubbish.
is. It's not rubbish.
Like-
It's endearing.
Maybe I am the only person that picks up on that. But also, I like the idea of Monster Hunter, but every time I play it, it kind of annoys me that it's just so laborious. But then
There was
I like-
definitely it only took me probably a few hours to reach it, but there was like a point where I realized what Monster Hunter kind of was about, and after that it became like way more fun.
because I've ended up loving Tokiden more. I've gone.
I like
full
Tokiden, I like the other stuff, but for me, Monster Hunter is all about like the whole package of what it is and all of the different sort of elements to it, and the customization and the crafting and the way that the quests kind of feed back into that customization. I don't know, just something about the whole package of what Monster Hunter is. I always prefer.
I think it's maybe I just lack
To
the
just,
patience
like,
for it.
Yeah, to just you get into it and you feel at home there.
Yeah, there was never
You
enough
get to know the roots.
story content in Monster Hunter for me.
Yeah, they started to try kind of add some of that in a bit more in the more
Yeah.
recent ones,
Because
but
like
it's
you
not really
go
about
out and you
story.
hunt and you collect things and you make new stuff and then you hunt some more and then you make some more
You're
new
gonna hunt
stuff.
the big dragon
But like
because the big
But what's the
dragon.
motivation?
I need
Because
a
the big dragon is killing the village.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've definitely been adding that in a bit more in later ones, but it is about the hunt.
What about disappointments? What did you feel E3 didn't?
What
didn't
made you
really
sad?
deliver? Yeah, what made you sad at this?
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite makes me sad.
Mm.
It makes me very sad in many ways.
Chun-Li's face.
Yeah, we got hands on with the
everyone's
story
face.
demo.
Yes.
Oh, of
and-
course, yeah. You guys played it. So
Yes.
what did you think?
It was well, the story demo is not good. It looks janky as all hell. The story mode is like maybe slightly above what was in Street Fighter V,
Okay.
which was pretty much boiled down to two characters appear in the same place and go, "Hey, let's fight," and then they fight. So,
Yeah.
so it's not nearly on the level of Injustice or Tekken 7.
I think
for
even
example.
Tekken 7 was getting there. Injustice 2 obviously a pretty high bar, and
Yeah.
Tekken 7 was kind of going for that kind of feel a little bit. I felt.
Yeah.
The way stuff.
So, but like after those two games, you can't really go back and have that kind of low effort story modes anymore. It's just gonna look like a half-assed effort.
And Chun-Li's face.
Yes, and Chun-Li's face, and Dante's face for
Oh
that
yeah,
matter.
Dante model is bad.
So, gameplay-wise, it seems okay. I think it'll play okay. They've changed how it works from Marvel vs. Capcom 3 quite a lot. There's the buttons are different. There's light kick, light punch, a hard punch, and then the gem system, which gives you different abilities depending on what gems you equip with
Okay.
your characters. And there are no assists in the game. There's just like tag mechanic.
Oh right.
So you basically create your own assists by tagging all of the time.
Yeah.
So it could definitely be quite
Mechanically,
cool.
it could be quite good fun.
Yes, yeah. So, but it's not going to look good. Like the game's 3 months away from
It has
release.
to look good though, you know. It's
So-
just like having there are certain games
Yeah,
that
it's
have
too
to look
close
good,
at
and there's
this
almost
point.
no excuse for it.
Yeah.
Like
so
fighting games and driving games, there's almost no excuse.
I still
for
think
those
Ultimate
games
Marvel
to not
3
be
looks
amazing.
great.
yeah,
Because
I mean,
a
like
very distinctive style.
everyone's
to
kind
all
of like
it.
holding on hope that the UI is going to get better and the graphics going to get better and they're going to change the shaders and it's going to look alright
It doesn't
by
have
the
the
time it
direction
releases.
of Ultimate.
But like it's 3 months away. It is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
Like that is the
Yeah,
game.
so
best you can
that
hope
we
for
saw.
is a lighting patch, like some other things.
Yeah. So it is just going to be kind of janky looking.
What
Hopefully
do-
it plays well.
What do you guys think about the? Well, we already discussed it briefly. The Xbox back compatibility, the original Xbox. What Xbox games do you want to see come to the Xbox One?
Well, there aren't that many.
Pretty- you can even put the disc in.
Oh, yeah, in terms of I mean things like they talked about Crimson Skies, which
You
I-
can
which
even
I-
put
which I
the
really
disc
liked.
in.
But there's things like Jade Empire and sort of things like that.
Jet Set
You could-
Radio
If
Future.
you could, well, Jet Set Radio Future would be Panzer Dragoon Auto would be amazing. Shenmue 2, but I guess there's the HD remake coming. So, I mean, for me, yeah, those would be my. If I had to do a top 3, Panzer Dragoon Auto, Jet Set Radio Future,
Blinks the
Shenmue.
time sweep.
No, definitely not. Oh, Blinks. You get things like Psychonauts would be quite nice as
First
well.
Fable.
And First Fable.
Psychonauts is on PS4.
What else was there? Yeah, something like Jade Empire, and obviously like Knights of the Old Republic. I guess it would be kind of quite nice.
I'm
to
amazed
have,
that EA
but-
hasn't
But I
unveiled
own-
those Knights of the Old Republic 3. Like it just
Yeah.
feels like that's a money spinner.
I think they
Microsoft
should put all
have
the
funded
old FIFAs on there.
KOTOR 3.
Yeah.
Genuinely. Like, why is that not a thing that's happening?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, why? Yeah,
I predicted a couple of years ago that there'd be.
especially now because there is a
Unveiling it.
bit more of a Star Wars resurgence going on.
I want a FIFA 93 HD. I want to go back and revisit the classic FIFAs.
Oh,
But
man.
yeah, it's funny because you think back and actually, there's not a huge amount of original Xbox titles that I can think of that have a
Super
burning
Monkey Ball
desire
Deluxe.
to actually Super Monkey Ball. That's another thing, Switch. That should be
Yeah,
Switch.
GameCube.
Yeah,
Get
exactly.
the virtual console.
But I'm a big fan of Xbox's kind of commitment to that whole thing of retaining all of your legacy content. I think is a really important thing for me.
Also, what do you think of the Xbox One X? At
I'm
the
surprised it says-
$499 price tag.
You know what? I don't actually. I'm not as offended by a 450.
I think it's worth it for what's in the box.
Yeah.
But
I'm
you
amazed that
can't.
it's smaller. Like I think
The smallest box.
I think
Yeah,
the name is
physically,
going to
it's
confuse
small.
people. Xbox One S and Xbox One X, they have a hell of a marketing job to differentiate
Yeah,
the two
absolutely.
in consumers' eyes, especially given that there are no exclusive games for X.
It is
in
literally
fact,
twice the price as well. $249 in America.
I'll tell you what, I came out of E3 thinking that this now sounds more like a PS4 Pro than was initially pitched. So, like, they gave it the big. Last year they were saying, "Oh, this is like the console to end generations."
I
Like,
mean,
this is
the T-shirt they were giving out was what was it? What did it sound like? I witnessed the most powerful console.
Yeah. Just this was billed as like the last Xbox you'll ever need, and it immediately suggestions like, oh, would we be upgrading things, adding new components or whatever? And I finished this C3 thinking it is just a more powerful version of a PS4 Pro.
It would have been interesting if they had just, even if it was just one thing, they just had one thing which you could only play on.
Yeah,
on
I mean
Xbox
that
One
would
X.
then go across
Scalebound.
go against
There it is again.
their
Let's
initial
think of it.
promise as to what it would be.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, do you
don't
think
know.
they would have been better off just like ditching the Xbox One name and just saying it's
You
Xbox?
just call it the Xbox. Yeah, I think
Xbox,
even
yes.
if they'd like called it
The Xbox
Scorpio. or
Infinity.
Yeah, they
something,
could have just like stuck with the Scorpio, really. I mean, they're kind of undermining themselves in that they don't
Should've just
really
made a new
seem to know
console.
what they're doing. Like, it is powerful enough to be an entirely new console generation.
Should have just made a
But-
new console. I mean,
Yeah,
what have they
as
got to
long
lose
as
at this
everything
point?
that they put out on the new console has to also function on the Xbox One.
Bottlenecks.
It just means that
You
whatever
pay-
you put out is just not going to take advantage.
It's a
of
decent
the
price
power.
for the hardware in the box,
I think there's an
but-
argument for saying if you're making something for Xbox One, then it's playable on Scorpio.
Yeah.
But a developer should be allowed to go, right, I'm going to make something and it is only going to be playable on this because it's going to utilize this power.
Yeah, like I was saying the other day, the only way they can actually really sell the Xbox One X is if they had like Hideo Kojima come up and be like, I'm making this new game and it can only be realized on this console with this power and it's exclusive for that. And like that's the only way they're gonna sell me on it. Like get Hideo Kojima
Well, I mean,
and Cliff
I mean,
Lee
Kojima
jerking
is
each other
in
off
Sony's-
onto like an Xbox One X logo on E3 stage.
I mean, you
Kojima
did buy
signed
you
up
did
with
buy a
Sony,
PS4
so
Pro,
yeah.
Peter,
I did, yes.
and you already had a PS4 that worked. Why did you buy that?
Because I wanted more storage space.
Yeah,
Basically.
I did as well. I had the same thing. I ran out of storage space.
I think it
and
has kind of fit-
I have a plan to buy a 4K HDR telly, which I'm going to do very soon, in fact. But I currently don't really play anything on Xbox One, and initially I was like, I'm definitely going to get a Scorpio, 100%. And this E3 is actually leaving me doubting whether or not
I'm
I
still
will.
going to do it. I will get one day one.
I think the price for the PS4 Pro is not so. I think for people who know about games, it does feel like if I want to upgrade or I want to buy a PS4 if I don't have one, I may
Yeah,
as
you
well
might as well
get the
a
Pro.
now. Yeah,
Whereas I don't know.
It just comes
it's
down to
quite the
exclusives.
same.
That's what it is.
I probably would have gotten an Xbox One X if they would have said Anthem is only available for Xbox. for
Yeah,
example.
because that looked good. A
That
little
was
sterile,
amazing.
but I think if they just said
I guess.
But I can just
mean,
get it for my PS4.
I mean,
so.
games are going to look probably. Yeah, they'll look amazing on Scorpio or whatever. Xbox One X. I hate saying that. I hate saying it so much. But like,
Sucks.
games are at a point now where even like the non 4K version still looks really
Yeah,
good. There are games that's coming out these days that
So
are blowing
what's-
me away.
What's with last year? Or was it year before? No, last year they had VR stuff on the Microsoft stage, and they wheeled
the
out some
Holo.
big
Yeah,
names.
there's the Holo.
Oh, well,
stuff.
HoloLens was
Yeah,
going
yeah.
beforehand. I'm not even
Yeah.
talking about HoloLens a couple of years ago. I'm just
Young
talking purely
Conqueror.
about they had Carmack out with Rift
Oh,
last
right,
year.
yeah.
Unless I've faked this memory, I'm sure that they did. And then this year they come out and said, "Oh yeah, we think the best place for PR is still for VR is still PC." It's like I was absolutely sure that Xbone X was going to be. This is your
the
Oculus
platform for it, yeah,
Rift.
yeah.
If you got a Rift, you could just plug it into Xbox X.
Yeah.
Xbox One X.
Well, that's always going to
and
be
then
tricky
it's-
for Microsoft, is because they have to, because the Microsoft overlords have said to them, everything has to, this is exclusive for Xbox, has to be on Windows 10. So it's always going to be a bit of a blurred line for them with what they can really.
Yeah, they'll never
put in.
have any true exclusives, like ever.
No, I mean they have
Like,
with
why-
like Halo.
if-
and
if
stuff,
you have a
but
gaming
if a new
PC,
Halo comes out,
why
I
would
think
you
it would
ever
have to
need
come
an
with
Xbox?
Windows.
Yeah, but if you say to people, you can just plug in a Rift into Xbone X, that's a really hot proposition.
It should be a feature.
They should do that. And
Xbox
for them
One
to
Cross.
almost then step back from the VR stuff that they were showcasing last year, I think was just silly. It feels.
Yeah, I don't see any scenario here where the Xbox will be successful. Like where they'll catch up, or even like begin to make up ground, because of they've spread themselves between 3 different consoles, and everything is also multi-platform with PC and their most powerful console.
But I
is
think,
getting
and I
taken
think that's
advantage of.
that's the danger that they've had, is really the only thing for that console is that they're kind of sort of putting their hat on is the fact that it is the most powerful.
It is
you can only have that for a certain amount of time.
Well, it is sort of the easy PC, and I think there is an appeal to that. I mean, I was talking to Harrison about Black Desert, because he said that he tried it out for not very long, and it didn't run that well on his PC, and he has a pretty good PC. But that was announced as something that's coming to Xbox, and will be an Xbox One X enhanced thing. So you can just plug it in, and it'll look as amazing as like on a high-end PC at the moment. You just don't have to worry about it. I think there is something to be said about that.
Yeah, that's always been the attraction of consoles, though. Really, plug-and-play aspect. Well, kind of sort of plug-and-play aspect now, I guess, with like installs at 10 gigabyte downloads and stuff before you can actually play your game. But
I mean, yeah, I think there's definitely a niche of people who will see the appeal of.
I mean, they've got the Xbox,
the most powerful console,
the Xbox Anywhere stuff, which is how like Fallout Shelter came to Xbox One. Bethesda didn't make it for Xbox One; it was just the PC version they could then bring over, no problem.
I mean, the links they have
what
with,
they should want to try and do is do the same for just blanket PC games, like try and coax them across. I mean, they're not going to do it with Switch, but with them.
I mean, they
Steam,
should
but
do.
Could you
Yeah.
imagine just like
original
Steam button
Xbox
send-
and like Morrowind on the original Xbox is like that to a T in a way. It's a game that people would only have been playing on PC really before, and then people on console got it, loved it, and now Skyrim is huge.
Yeah.
Speaking
of
Skyrim is again
speaking of Skyrim,
keeps being released.
How many are we still going to be showing Skyrim in like at E3 2020?
Yes,
It would not surprise me.
it
Here
is
it is again. It's this like
is it
it's
a
so old,
7-year-old
but
game
it's,
now?
And I'm part of that problem because I've
I think it was 2011. Pretty sure. Was it early 2012? No, I think it was 2011. Fall
yeah, it would have
2011.
been, at least 6 years ago for sure.
I mean, another thing with the Scorpio, I'm going to keep calling it Scorpio, I don't care, is that if you do have like a high-end PC, you're probably not going to want to have two really high-end PCs.
The Xbox.
And then with some of the cross-window stuff, like if you want to play something in the front room but you don't want to, grab your thing or stream it and lose some quality, you want something that's high-end in the front room to just turn on and pick up your Forza.
Yeah. I don't think there's room for Xbox in my life anymore. It's actually not plugged into my entertainment center anymore. I have my PS4, my
But it's the
Switch.
all-in-one entertainment system.
It's true.
Yeah, my
Input
PS3 and my Wii U are plugged in. The Xbox One doesn't get to be plugged in.
Wii
at the
U
moment.
gets plugged in and
Yeah.
Xbox doesn't. That's a low blow.
So,
I'll tell you one thing that the Xbox has that is better than PS4. The Crunchyroll app on Xbox One is superior to the
Really?
PS4
I've not
app. The
tried it.
PS4 app is a little bit shit.
It is pretty shit.
Yeah, the
actually.
Xbox One app is like, oh, it's perfect. You can sort by season and everything. It's all
nice.
there.
Forget the world's most powerful console tag. They should have put the best Crunchyroll app
The
machine.
best Crunchyroll, the best Wii pump.
Think about it.
in
You're
the
going to
world.
be able to get anime in crisp
But
4K.
I do like
4K
I
anime
know people
support.
moan about the Xbox One menu, but in terms of like
Oh, I
switching
hate it.
between, like TV entertainment things, it's immediate. Like swapping from Crunchyroll to Netflix back to your normal TV, back to Amazon Prime Video is just like that straight away. There's no messing around.
It's pretty fast on PlayStation. It's
I
pretty
mean,
fast on
you have to like
PlayStation.
quit out, go into the menu, go, and then do you know what I mean? Whereas you can just call it up and just switch between.
You do have a PlayStation camera. You can just
I'm a
press
big-
home
I'm
and then
a
you
big
go
fan
right.
of the. I'm a big fan of the.
It runs
just that
two apps
hubness
simultaneously.
of the
I
Xbox One.
hate the hub. There's one game that we have not talked about yet that we absolutely should do.
The Sushi 3DS game.
That's the one. Alternatively, we can also talk about Mario Odyssey.
I think it looks
That's
rad.
that's quite a good one to end on. When I look at the gameplay stuff, I'm totally okay with it. Like when I've watched gameplay of like specific levels and just watching somebody play through it, it looks like a lot of fun. And there is probably no way in the world that I would not buy that game because it's just I will buy it day one.
I really want to
But
touch it.
the bit where Mario puts his hat on the human being and turns into the human being, that just makes me feel physically sick.
It looks like
You know, like
So
they know,
Shin
like
the Giant,
Sonic
like,
goes in to kiss that woman in Sonic 08. Is it Sonic 08?
06.
06, sorry. When
2006.
like that thing, it's that disgusting feeling all over again, and it's back. It's wrong.
Mario.
And even with a dinosaur, with like the properly textured dinosaur and the hat, there's no.
There's
There's
a weird
no.
disconnect
There is a
to it,
weirdness to it that I
It
just
looks
don't like.
gorgeous. It's going to change the world.
The cab with a hat. Like all of that is just.
I'm sure, like
it's not acceptable.
They know what they're
when
doing.
we play it, we'll
I'm sure
consider
the magic
ourselves
will...
foolish forever
Yes,
doubting
yeah, I'm
Nintendo
sure,
because they
I'm sure.
always get this.
It
stuff
does
right.
look very joyful.
But it doesn't. That mechanic doesn't. It feels a little bit too open to me. In the same way that like I can't really get into Minecraft because it's too. I like to be directed when I play a lot of the time, and almost like the potential of just taking over anything is a bit too much.
Yeah, you can even put your cap on like those little poles and like flip yourself out.
Yeah, and I'm just. And again, I know that it will be done absolutely correctly, and I need to play it before
Yeah, I think it's something you
have
actually
that
have
assurance.
to get to it.
Yeah, well, Barry has always had room to experiment with the solutions to the subject puzzle.
I think
People are saying-
what gets me is that, like, I know it's going to be good. It's a Mario game, it's a Nintendo game, it's always going to be, like, the peak of quality.
Yes.
There's no such thing as a bad Mario game. But I look at it, and it doesn't give me the feels. Like, there's
Exactly, like,
feels
yes, yeah.
that you get.
You only play Mario Galaxy for the first time and you go and you've got that, oh my god, it's that Nintendo.
But you didn't even need to play Galaxy to have that fuzz. As far as I'm concerned. I just thought, oh my god, that idea, and you running around planets and jumping between them. It's like, yes, I'm 100% into that. Whereas I feel I need to be convinced by playing the hat mechanic.
Yeah.
And I'm in the minority. I think we're all in the minority for feeling that. Because some of what they showcase is incredible, but between the weird Doshi and the Giant people, like borderline Ouija board possessions, and the total freedom of the hat thing, I'm not 100% there yet with it. But I'm really excited to get it.
Yeah, as Peter says, there's no doubt in my mind it will be a phenomenally well made, well designed game. Like all that stuff, look at something like Zelda, for example. All the time that I've been playing through Zelda recently, it's just been reaffirming the fact that Nintendo really know what they're doing when they make games, and it almost shames, like, I started playing Zelda off the back of playing Skyrim for a second time on like a marathon kind of.
Are you
Skyrim
going to
session.
use the amiibo to turn yourself into Link in Skyrim?
No, I'm not going to play Skyrim again because I've played that game too much. I have probably spent like close to 1,000 hours playing.
I have
Skyrim.
4 copies
It's
of
just
Skyrim
ridiculous.
as it
It's
stands.
just
I don't
ridiculous.
know if I want the
That's
such fun, but I
ridiculous.
just don't know that I can. I really enjoyed
The
it.
thing is, the trouble is though, VR Skyrim.
Oh, I know.
Now,
I know.
Doom VFR. That's
just going to
gonna
make
me
you sick.
vomit.
I don't know. Do you know what? Playing Doom on Xbox One is the slipperiest. There's like a quickness to it, which I've never struggled with motion sickness like ever, but that does make me feel a little bit weird playing
It makes
Doom.
me feel
So
alive.
playing in VR is going to be like it's going to be a chunderfest.
It's going to be a bit frightening, I think. There's something else I wanted to ask you about.
Kirby, I'm done with Kirby.
New Kirby and
we don't need
Yoshi.
to talk about it anymore.
New Kirby and Yoshi look good, but
Kirby looks good. Looks fun.
I'm down for
I'm not
Yoshi.
convinced.
I like
the
Yoshi. Yeah.
The music of the trailer has already annoyed me.
I'm all down Kirby. Yoshi can.
but they have confirmed a Pokemon RPG for Switch. That's a pretty big deal because they kind of everyone wanted Pokemon Stars at the Pokemon Direct that was just before this, and they announced Pokken DX and Omega Ruby, not Omega Ruby, Ultra Sun of Moon.
Yeah.
Instead.
Of course.
So we were wondering if they would even touch Pokemon, and they did. They just got the guy out to say, yeah.
That's one of the is one of the things, isn't it? Like whether from the N64 onwards, actually, the desire has always been for a
I always really loved
a main console Pokemon game.
I always really loved the Pokemon Coliseum games, to be honest.
If it had MMO elements,
well,
now we're talking.
Switch doesn't have any Does it have any GPS in it? It doesn't, does it? It's not like you could almost blend some Go stuff as well. That'd be too much.
We have to stay.
Pokemon game to end all games.
But all they said is that it's going to be an RPG. So whether or not it will be like the next line of Pokemon games, just
hopefully it won't be like the Colosseum RPG.
I like Colosseum.
Yeah, it's like super linear though, wasn't it?
But so long, I just want a proper
open up a bit
I don't
later
want a
on.
mystery dungeon style. You're a band of.
You're a band
Loose
of local,
Pokemon. Like,
No.
just give
it
me
needs to be
proper.
like it needs to be Zelda in a Pokemon thing. Do you know what I mean? Wandering around, exploring, going to the towns.
I don't know if I want Zelda.
No, but it needs to have that kind of
pretty.
So it needs to have it needs to be a world where you can just wander around, explore, talk.
Yeah,
shop,
well, Sun
fight.
and Moon had a really loose like design style to it. So if it was just felt a little bit like that, but high res and a little bit prettier, that'd be fine. Sun and Moon really impressed me with how it shook up those mechanics.
Yeah, it's not quite as rigid as the old kind
No,
of.
not at all. No, you just kind of walk around and
Pokemon,
then it's just like, yeah, Sun and Moon's great.
The disappointing thing is, though, it is for me with Nintendo, it was their opportunity. Obviously, the machine's out. They've got a very small amount of console exclusives. This E3 for me was their like #1 chance to basically go. This is like all the amazing stuff, basically.
They
But
did
they
did
all
all
of
of
that.
that.
What they could have done is said, "Oh yes, we're going to bring some GameCube games," and oh look, here's Animal Crossing for Switch.
Yeah.
And that would have killed it.
Yeah,
that would have, like, along with the Metroid Prime thing and the Odyssey gameplay.
Mm.
Why no Animal Crossing? What is wrong with them? Like, that is such a stupid move to not reveal that at E3.
Yeah, they should definitely do one to. You mean you'd expect it because of the mobile app? Maybe it's just not time for them to say anything yet.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, I want to see Donkey Kong again. It's a thing I want.
You saw a Donkey Kong Rabbit though. Isn't that good enough?
No, not good enough.
But you love Rabbids, Peter.
Maybe that's what Retro
I
working
would have
on.
loved to see like a new Luigi's Mansion or something like that as well.
Yeah,
Donkey
I'm up
Kong
for that.
Open World by Retro.
Oh yeah. So,
GTA with Donkey Kong. He can't kill anyone, but you can knock him out.
That'd be amazing.
Just pick people up.
Stole
and
my
eat them.
bananas. Just a banana war.
So there we go. The question is, final question: who won? Who won E3?
Easily Nintendo. Easy.
There's no winner for me.
Easy.
There's no winner for me. I liked
Only losers.
Microsoft and Nintendo equally.
I think in terms of pure conferences, I think Ubisoft won the conferences. It's just the impact that they had. Like, after the fact, when you add in other stuff that was revealed and maybe quantified.
It's a good
then
point.
I
The
don't
swearing monkey
think-
did win the over.
Yeah, but I don't think that there's one
It's kind of
standout winner.
clear now.
I think it's clear that Sony didn't continue its hot streak
Yeah.
this year. And it's also telling that some of those games that they revealed a couple of years ago are still totally absent. Whereas the Final Fantasy VII remake that 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's
was one of
shocking
their
that they've not
highlights.
shown anything of that.
Where
yeah.
is more Shenmue 3? Like, that year there was Final Fantasy VII, Shenmue 3, and The Last Guardian were their three big shocks.
Yeah.
And the only one of those that exists right now is
Is
The Last Guardian.
How about you, Peter?
Thinking
Who's the
back on it, the conference that left the biggest mark on me was probably EA, which is a little bit weird.
Holy shit.
Yes, new story mode in the new Madden game.
Yes, actually that looked really cool. I was hyped for that.
Yeah, following FIFA Street.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it looked
they're
pretty
continuing
cool.
the journey of Alex.
Because I never cared about Madden or FIFA or anything like that, but I would legitimately get those games to play the story mode, and then like, I'm done with it.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they're continuing the story of Alex as opposed to introducing a new
And then
footballer.
Need for Speed
That looks rad. That looks so
Payback.
good.
It was
It was almost a Jesse
Looks very
moment
cool,
there where you
yes.
forgot what it was called.
and then
Yeah, the YouTube content creator guy. Oh man, he won E3. He definitely won.
He won
Need for Speed.
There you go. Like it almost feels like he was just not meant to be in front of the camera.
It's almost like he just like,
they
he was
just
just
turned
like
it off.
lost and just like.
It's like that bit in
accidentally wandered into
it's
the
like that
sentence.
bit in Wayne's World where Garth has to like Wayne's has to go do something
Yeah,
else.
he has to,
and
like, do
Garth
it on
just
his
has to be
own.
on his own.
The only thing that would have made that better is if he looked down and realised he wasn't wearing any trousers.
It's
just a
bad
nightmare.
dream.
but yeah, what poor Jesse
Oh,
there
there was
distracted from was
there was
that,
the car as well. The
um,
new Porsche. I'm a big fan of Porsche.
Yeah, Need for Speed Payback looks really, really good. It's Fast and Furious in game form. It has some serious burnout isms in the gameplay, and it's by far the most hype I've been for a racing game in a very long time. Anthem looks amazing. It is the Iron Man simulator I've always wanted.
Exosuits leave me cold, I'll
So
be honest.
I like.
Love that voice
exosuits.
chat.
And the Porsche was
Microsoft.
Oh.
That's weird.
Forza
Let's
7.
not talk about that.
So-
It was a blot.
Oops.
on an
Sorry,
otherwise
Porsche.
Reasonable thing.
So yes, I was hyped for EA things for some reason.
Okay, well that's fair enough.
I got the Porsche brand manager at me
So there we
now.
have it. Jesse won E3.
I think really we're all winners.
We're all winners.
Cool.
That's what it means to game. Also, I didn't like the look of the episode Prompto very much.
Oh yeah, I just watched the gameplay walkthrough for that, and it is horrendous.
I don't really want to talk about it.
Everything about it annoys me.
But VR fishing, I'm down with.
Mm.
I'm well keen on doing some Final Fantasy fishing.
We need to get
in
some
that
Sega
PSVR.
Bass voiceovers onto that. Get it uploaded stuff. I think that's
Yes.
a job for this afternoon.
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed E3.
Yes, thank you very much for
Thanks
joining us.
for watching or listening to us talk about it. Because I'll probably put this up as audio only as well.
Okay.
On the podcast feed.
So why are
that
we
I
waving
never
to the
update.
camera?
I don't know.
As well, I said.
Oh,
That
okay.
was nice.
You don't have to wave it if you
Back to
don't want
work.
to.